Welcome back to From the Park One. We showcase amateur athletes and amateur news every day. If you're a player, coach, would like an interview, DM me for a collaboration. And if you're loving this content, smash that like button and subscribe to the channel. Today, we'll talk about the SEC Women Basketball Honors on today. And the first thing we're going to talk about is the SC Women Basketball First Team. And the first player we're going to talk about is Liv McGill, who plays for Florida. She's a sophomore guard, and she's averaged this season 22.3 points per game, 6.0 rebounds, 6.2 assists. And the next player we're going to talk about is Danny Carnegie, who plays for Georgia. She's a sophomore guard that's average 18.1 points per game, 5.4 rebounds, and 3.1 assists. The next player we're going to talk about is Clara Strack, who plays for Kentucky. She's a junior center, and she's averaging 16.6 points per game, 10.2 rebounds, and 1.9 assists. And the next player we're going to talk about is Fly J. Johnson, a senior guard who's averaging 13.8 points per game, 4.3 rebounds, 2.6 assists, and she plays for the LSU Tigers. The next player we're going to talk about is Miss Michaela Wilson, who also plays for the LSU Tigers. She's a junior guard averaging 13.5 points per game, 5.3 rebounds, and 3.7 assists. And Cody McBain, who plays for Ole Miss, who's averaged this season so far 19.8 points per game, 5.5 rebounds, 2.9 assists, and she plays for Ole Miss. And the next player we're going to talk about is Regan Beers, a senior who plays for Oklahoma, who's averaging 15.9 points per game, 10.6 rebounds, 2.3 assists, and Joyce Edwards, a sophomore forward who's averaging 19.8 points per game, 6.3 rebounds, 2.4 assists, and she plays for South Carolina. And the next player we're going to talk about is Madison Booker, a junior forward who's averaging 18.8 points per game, 6.3 rebounds, 3.8 assists. She plays for Texas. And Michaela Blakes, a sophomore guard who's averaging 27.1 points per game, 3.9 rebounds, 4.6 assists, and she plays for Vanderbilt. The second team All SEC, the first player we're going to talk about is Jessica Timmons. Uh, and she's averaging 16.8 points per game, 4.6 rebounds, 2.5 assists, and she's a senior guard who plays for the Alabama Roll Tide. And Tiny Morgan, a senior guard who plays for Kentucky, who's averaging 13.9 points per game, 3 rebounds, 8.2 assists, and she plays for Kentucky. The next person we're going to talk about is Grace Slaughter, who plays for Missouri, and she's a junior guard, averaging 18.9 points per game, 6.5 rebounds, 1.7 assists, and Aaliyah Chavez, who plays for Oklahoma, and she's a freshman guard, and she's averaging 18.4 points per game, 3.8 rebounds, and 4.2 assists. And Raven Johnson, another player for the South Carolina Gamecocks, is a senior guard who's averaging 10.0 points per game, 4.2 rebounds, 5.4 assists. And Tessa Johnson, who also plays for South Carolina, a junior guard, averaging 13.1 points per game, 3.4 rebounds, and 2.6 assists. The next player we're going to talk about is another South Carolina person on a second team in the SEC is Tanya Latson, a South Carolina senior guard who's averaging 14.6 points per game, 3.0 rebounds, 3.5 assists, and Medina Okot, who plays for South Carolina, another one, a senior center who's averaging a double double, 14 points, 10.9 rebounds, and 0.9 assists. And Talasia Cooper, who plays for Tennessee, a junior guard who's averaging 16.1 points per game, 4.8 rebounds, 3.7 assists, and Rory Harmon, who plays for Texas, a senior guard who's averaging 8.5 points per game, 3.3 rebounds, and 6.4 assists. And Nia Creel Pryor, who plays for Texas A&M, a senior guard who's averaging 4.2 points per game, 7.2 assists. And who's made it to the all-defensive team is Clara Strack from Kentucky, Madison Harrison from Mississippi State, Raven Johnson from South Carolina, Rory Harmon from Texas, and Nia Creel Pryor from Texas A&M. And then let's talk about these dynamic freshmen that made some contributions to their team this year. And the first player we're going to talk about is Zakiya Johnson, who plays for my LSU Tigers. And she's a guard, averaging 14.2 points per game, 5.8 rebounds, and 1 assist. And Madison Francis, a Mississippi State forward who's averaging 13.4 points per game, 7 point rebounds, 1.4 assists, and Lalia Chavez, a guard who's averaging 18.4 points per game, 3.8 rebounds, 4.2 assists. And Mia Podol, who plays for Tennessee, she's a guard that's averaging 10.7 points per game, 2.4 rebounds, 2.4 assists, and Aubrey Galvin, who plays for Vanderbilt, is a guard who's averaging 12.9 points per game, 3.3 rebounds, and 5.9 assists. And let's talk about these other accomplishments. First off, the Scholar Athlete of the Year is Carla Weathers, who plays for Alabama. Great year for her. Player of the Year is a player we all need to watch out for. It's Michaela Blakes, who plays for Vanderbilt. And Freshman of the Year is Aubrey Galvin, and she also plays for Vanderbilt. Newcomer of the Year is Kylie McMahon, who plays for Ole Miss. And Defensive Player of the Year, which is no surprise, is Raven Johnson, who plays for South Carolina. And the Sixth Woman of the Year is from my LSU Tigers, is Malaysia Fulwiley. And Coach of the Year is Shay Ralph, who plays for Vanderbilt. For all your amateur news and your women basketball content, make sure you subscribe to Formula Park 1 on YouTube. Thank you for your support.